Welcome back to The Hot Seat. I'm delighted today to be speaking to An Kelles from Jersey Finance here in Dubai. Welcome, Anne.
Well, I'm very glad to be back, actually. And I'm very glad we're sitting down because the last interview we did was in Shanghai. And we had a standing interview and the cameraman said, "You're too short, you need a step." So we had to do it on a step. So my self-confidence at the start of the interview was a bit weird. So very glad sitting in a hot seat this time.
Terrific to see you. I mean, that's almost part of the story. The last time we met, we were in person was in Shanghai. You've since relocated here to Dubai. Tell us a little bit more about your journey there, relocating here.
Yeah, it was, I closed my Asian travel. So 2 years ago, we lost a colleague in our office here. And since we were in COVID and doing virtual, my boss said, can you go and help to support the Middle East team on the ground? So I came over temporarily. And then he said, after 6 months, you can stay if you want to. So I decided actually it was time for a change. I know the Middle East quite well. My brother lived in Qatar for a very long time. And I'd been to Dubai on holiday for a few times, but I had loads of friends who already lived here. So it was actually a very easy move. So 2 years ago, yeah, I'm based in Dubai.
And what are some of the differences you find of working with intermediaries in Hong Kong, working with intermediaries here for the Jersey proposition? What do you see as sort of different? How are the conversations different that you have now?
I shouldn't be telling this actually, because my job is a bit easier here. What you saw in Asia is Jersey isn't that known yet, so we were really getting the brand out. But you still had conversations like it's Jersey, it's not New Jersey. Like it all started on another level. Well, what I find here is that we're already quite known, so that makes my job easier, and my conversations is less educational and more on the practical and the structuring. So my job has actually gotten easier. For the rest, it's the same. If it's an Asian family or Middle Eastern families, they have the same challenges. They're looking for the same solutions. So for the rest, it's the same. But for Jersey knowledge, we're more known in the Middle East than we were in Asia.
And does your remit cover funds as well as trusts and private wealth, or what's the kind of scope of what you tend to talk to people about?
I think we're most known in the Middle East for private wealth or trusts and succession planning. But what I see is a lot more, I get a lot more corporate inquiries, just the holding structures or the real estate holding structures, and funds is coming up. Regulated funds, unregulated, and we have this fund structure called the JPF, the Jersey Private Fund, which is a really flexible structure for investments. So I'm doing a lot more funds actually than I used to do in Asia.
Great. And I think, I mean, the recognition for Jersey here is a mixture of the efforts Jersey Finance have put in over the years and the private sector coming together, working very closely. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the development of Jersey Finance's office here in Dubai and how you've got to this position where you do have that recognition.
Jersey Finance came into this market about, well, we celebrated our 10th anniversary last year. So we were based in the UAE since 2011. Since 2018, we are in the DIFC. Last year, Jersey Finance also signed an MOU with the DIFC, so we work really closely together, sharing information. Then this region has always been very important, Saudi, UAE, but also the rest. So you see double track treatments by our government with Qatar, with the UAE. Last year, we also signed a bilateral investment treaty with the UAE. So it's not just Jersey Finance, it's our firms, our member firms who are based here, and our government making a commitment to the Middle East.
And what's your observations of DIFC? I mean, I always love walking around there. There's a real energy. Are you seeing, you know, a growth in firms, new ideas, new sectors as well coming through into DIFC?
Loads. They just set up a new department for family offices. There is loads to do on fintech. You have a fintech hub. I actually live and work in the DIFC, so from Monday to Friday, it's my little bubble, and I don't feel the need actually to leaving that bubble. Obviously, when you speak, I can't say it's just the DIFC. Obviously, we work closely with the ADGM as well, which is also making really big steps. steps, especially on sustainability and also funds. So it's both, but they're both booming. And I wasn't here before COVID, but everyone I know said they came in more successful out of COVID than they went in. So it's very exciting to be here.
And on sustainable investment and the ESG front, I mean, it's a big topic in the industry, particularly in Europe, but what's your sense of where that discussion is at here?
It is here a lot, because obviously in this region oil, but they need to diversify from oil. So there is a discussion, and you might as well do it in a more sustainable way. So the energy question is really big here. I think the commitment to ESG is also that we're all talking about COP27 now, but we can't forget that next year it's COP28 and the UAE will be presiding COP28. Oh, wow. So we're doing loads about on that next year.
That will reinvigorate the local scene, the discussion, the professionals, the clients, won't it, I think? Very interesting. I mean, there's a lot of talk around crypto and digital assets and new setups coming here. Do you see that filtering through?
Yes, a lot of discussion. I'm not the expert. No. Luckily, I have member firms I can point them to that are better experts than me, but you have new legislation here. So it is very on topic, actually.
Okay. Interesting. And just looking at some of the other key markets, the region, you cover Qatar. I mean, perhaps give us a sense of what that is like as a market for professional services.
So just in the region, every market is key. Our biggest market are UAE and Saudi, and my colleague Faisal does Saudi. And I then also do Oman, Kuwait and Qatar. Yeah. But Qatar is the most interesting at the moment. I would say we've had some trips. We had a big event there last month, a women's event, and just the whole country is like exploding with energy. They had the blockade, and then we kind of went into COVID, and we're kind of out of COVID now. And now everything was focused on the World Cup. But I think next year it's going to burst. International investment is going to become so important. So Qatar is one to keep an eye on. Yeah. And I would definitely, if people are traveling in region, I would definitely recommend they put Qatar on the travel plan as well. They still have the Sunday to Thursday week. So you can start there on the Sunday and do 6 days if you end in Dubai. But yeah, Qatar is definitely one to keep an eye on. Also, Qatar and the UK government signed an agreement where Qatar made a promise that they would invest 10 billion into the UK over the next 10 years. Now that needs to be structured somewhere. So I think there's loads of opportunities.
There's a clear commitment there to the market and to come into the UK.
And especially with the UK, if you have investments in the UK, Jersey is your natural structuring partner. So it's good news for our member firms and the UK.
Interesting. And on the female forum side, I mean, do you think it's important to have forums specifically for women? Do you think it gives it a different tone and energy as an event?
I was actually quite reluctant. I never did women's events in Asia. I didn't see the need. And when I came here, they did tell me, like, it's been very successful in the past, so we would like you to organize it again. So I was a bit like, oh no. But then I did it, and yeah, it really works well. It is a way, I would say maybe less in Dubai, but especially countries like Kuwait and Saudi, it is good to get like a women's only event and so that they feel comfortable talking as well. So it was really, we just did an event in Jeddah. We also did an event in Doha earlier this year. It was very successful, actually. It really works.
It plays to the strengths of Jersey member firms with strong female leadership, because they can then go and connect to new clients and as you say, create a comfortable forum for people to talk.
And that's how we did it. We didn't do it. Normally, Jersey Finance, we're very on the content driven. For the women's event, we actually, somebody said, if you don't have a seat at the table, create your own table. So we wanted to create tables. So we actually went with a delegation from Jersey and some London law firms, and basically creating those contacts. And I think that for the future. So definitely next year we're doing lots of women's events.
Interesting.
My reluctance has gone.
Yeah, no, very interesting. And in terms of Kuwait and Oman, is there anything sort of notable there? I mean, what do you observe?
They're also doing very well. They're sometimes a bit more difficult to get in. There's less international firms. So because I'm also new in the region, I still have to work very hard. But they're very interesting, and they're also, it's the same trends. ESG is very important. The women's events work there very well. So it's those topics as well. But especially, and Oman and Kuwait is also beautiful countries. So if you're in region, you might as well have a holiday in Oman. Actually, I feel like a travel agent now as well. But
I guess they have fabulous hotels like in Dubai, wonderful food. Yeah.
traveling in this region is not a punishment.
No, absolutely. And you've got a hectic November. When I looked down the schedule, I thought I took my hat off to Jersey Finance for the program they put together. I mean, perhaps walk us through some of the key events you've got going on.
Yeah, well, first of all, tomorrow I'm joining the PCD dinner, obviously very important. We're sponsoring Step Arabia, which is, I was saying Eurasia, I'm still in my old Arabia. Then we have our biggest event, our flagship. And then we have smaller events. Faisal has some in Bahrain and Saudi. I still have some in Kuwait and Abu Dhabi. And then we end the year with Christmas drinks.
What's on the agenda for your flagship conference? What are the things that you think, what's really going to be?
It's going to be challenges. What are the current challenges for family business, family offices, and talk to experts on that subject, having people who are in the family business, but also talking to key advisory and seeing where, because we'll have a room full of experts. We have more than, I think we'll almost reach 500 registrations. So what do they need? What do family businesses need from their experts, basically, and how we can help, and obviously how we can bring Jersey in that discussion.
Fantastic. And I guess events like that are a great platform for your members because it's something they can plug into, connect. It's under the Jersey brand. I mean, I guess you probably find that your member firms really take up these opportunities, don't they? They're very valuable.
I have more member firms traveling out than I used to when I was living in Hong Kong. But yeah, it's so what we do on the ground is we open doors for them. I talk a lot to local intermediaries so that when they come over, they don't have to have those initial discussions anymore. And then with our events, it's both. It's content, so that we can show the local people what they can do, but it's also the networking. And the networking, we say it a bit in every region, face-to-face contact is so important, but in this region it really is. And by doing these events, it gives our member firms an opportunity to meet more people than they would do if they just do single meetings.
And I guess by having you on the ground here year round, it just helps keep the name visible, doesn't it? You know, you're attending events, you're interacting. There's commitment, I guess, as well, isn't there, to doing business in the region, that people don't feel advisors flying in and they're not sure the continuity of service they might get.
And we work really closely as well with local branches of our member firms. So if they have discussions, sometimes the person who's in Dubai doesn't know all the offerings of the Jersey office very well. So then we join meetings and we help out in that way.
And what's the outlook for 2023? I mean, we were discussing earlier, a lot of events tend to fall in November and the practicalities of the rest of the year can make it challenging. But what's on the agenda for you for 23?
We just had to submit our events plan, and it was really big. So it's the same. We'll have a flagship. We'll do Step Arabia, obviously PCD again, but also we'll have some ministerial. We've got a new chief minister and a new minister of external relations. So there will be some ministerial visits as well. Probably also one to Qatar. So we'll work with events around that. Well, COP28, we will have to do some events in the fringe on sustainability and on COP. So it's probably, I would say, check our website, because I'm going to forget half of them and they're going to be angry that I've forgotten them. But it's going to be a very busy year.
Well, fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the dinner tomorrow night. I mean, you haven't been along to PCD event since we're in Shanghai, so it'll be great to be amongst people chatting.
I've done Singapore, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. I've done all of them actually, but this is my first Middle Eastern.
Well, look, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night and sharing this interview with us.
Thank you very much.